The Missouri Valley Basketball Women's Game of the Week has to Peoria this afternoon, 2:00 Central Time on ESPN+. It's the Bradley Braves hosting the Southern Illinois Salukis. And we've got two of the new bright coaches in the Missouri Valley joining us right now to preview the matchup. It's Kate Popovic-Goss and Kelly Bond-White for Bradley and SIU. And both of you are deep into the grinds of your first season. Coach Pop, let's start with you. What's the biggest thing you've learned about yourself from year one on this journey?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's no secret that year one is absolutely insane. But I think that the biggest thing that you can learn is you just have to stay true to yourself and stay true to what your leadership style you want, what you're trying to develop, and also be willing to learn. You're going to be learning a lot in year one. You're going to make a lot of mistakes. You're also going to do a lot of things right. So I think just trying to keep a balanced perspective of what's happening despite the wins, despite the losses, and really just continuing to invest in the culture of what you're trying to build. And we've been really pleased. I think Sunday was probably one of my favorite days as a head coach. It didn't show up in the win column, but I loved what our team did. I loved the energy that we had throughout the course of the day. And for me, it was really reaffirming to know the direction that we're heading. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been hard, but we're definitely growing, and that's what you want in the first year.
Coach Bond-White, how about for you?
I think very echoing some of the same things. It's been a roller coaster, and I always preach to our young ladies being in the Missouri Valley. I said, you're going to have those valleys and you're going to have those peaks, but just understand God said it was only the shadow. He walked through the shadow of the valley of death. And so when we've had those games and we've had some stretches where we haven't won very many, I always remind our kids, it's just the shadow, guys. It's not death. We have a chance to resurrect. We have a chance to turn the page. We call it NBA, next best action, and really just get ready for the next opponent. But for me in this first year, it really has been bringing in 8 new players. It's been about building chemistry. And some veteran coaches told me that don't get caught up in your X's and O's, Kelly. It's your habits. Define your habits, define your culture, and you'll see that those X's and O's will quickly start turning for you. So not as quickly as I want, but we've had some highlights and I've seen some growth, tremendous growth from where we started.
Really great advice for both of you with largely new rosters. How invaluable has it been having that returning go-to player in somebody like a Kiera Love and a Caroline Wade? And Coach Bond-White, let's start with you.
Yeah, Q from the very beginning, from my press conference, she was there. And obviously I was a point guard and have always coached point guard. So I was attracted to her energy right away, and going back and digging through the film and watching what she brought, the consistency that she brought. Her voice has been really, really good the entire time. And me trying to empower her with all the newcomers coming in and her learning and shifting maybe in a different role than what she played last year. I thought it was really important to empower her and let the team see that, you know, we as a coaching staff support her voice, and she is the face of our leadership council. So having her has been consistent. She's probably started every game for me except 2. So having her has been great.
And Coach Pop, what about you?
Yeah, I think I've been really impressed with Caroline in terms of just she's really evolving as a leader. She, I think when we reached the halfway point of conference, so about a week ago, she just called me and she's like, Coach, like, what can I do? What can we do better? Like, where are we at? And she's got a really high basketball IQ. I think that's probably one of the most underrated aspects of her game. And I think coaches can recognize it because obviously in order to get to our level with her size, you have to have things that jump off the page in terms of your shooting ability or your scoring ability. But her IQ is, I think, what lends her to be so dangerous, because she just knows the game. And that's one of the things I've been challenging her with is, like, we're really young. Even though sometimes we look old on paper, we don't have experience. I don't have experienced players that have been in the trenches. She's my most experienced player. She's only a sophomore. So with her, just her leadership and the fact too that she's really embraced criticism, growing and learning. And that's hard. It's hard when you're going through the battles. It's hard when you're constantly being guarded by the biggest, fastest, strongest player on the court. And she's really evolved. And I've loved that, because she's going to be a big part of what we do, in terms of the next 3 years, 2 years, she's going to be here. So to see that leadership growth with her has really been the biggest goal I've had, because on paper, stats and stuff, that all come together, kind of like what Coach Bond-White was saying, like, X's and O's take care of themselves once that chemistry, the leadership evolves. And that's where I've really seen her grow. And I'm excited to see what the next few weeks look for us in the conference, but also the next 2 years with her.
Coach Pop, you mentioned maybe you look older on paper than you actually are as far as game experience. Who's somebody that's come the furthest for you since you took over the job?
Two players really stick out in my mind. Alex Rouse, obviously, came in as a sophomore, but she didn't really play a lot at ODU. And I've had to throw her in by fire. Actually the SIU game really stands out to me because she struggled tremendously in the first half of that game. She was rushed. She was playing out of sorts. She was obviously very frustrated by SIU's defense. And, she had great composure coming into the second half to kind of take a deep breath, reevaluate, slow down, and had a great second half. And that resiliency is things that I'm looking for, because it is a battle and she's getting thrown into the fire. And I think her growth from the beginning of conference until now has been unbelievable. Just the reads that she's making, the decisions she's making, and she's playing with a lot more confidence. And then two, I want to highlight Reagan Barkema as a freshman. She came in injured, so she didn't really get a great summer. And she's someone else I kind of made a choice. I want to just see what she can do in a game and let her grow in games. And you're seeing her start to really come alive in her role as a knockdown shooter. I think that she's going to continue to evolve into a tremendous player, specifically with a strong off season. But she's become a really consistent factor for us off the bench and is giving us scoring off the bench, which we really need. So I've been really pleased with the growth of those two.
Coach Bond-White, who's your most improved?
I would definitely probably say a couple kids, but Lanaya Randall, from where she was last year and the minutes that she played last year, she's become a tremendous kid that helps us on the boards. She gives us second chance opportunities, and she's a part of that disruption that Kate talked about. So just having her energy every day in practice, if I could replicate that, I just love the kid's motor. She's still learning the game, but she's a sponge. She wants to get in and work. And then my next one would be Jaden Mason, from a freshman that not a lot of people recruited. She was headed to junior college. She's really been a kid that Kiera has taken under her wing to help her learn the point guard role. But she's come in, she had 7 steals the other day. And she's come in and she just changed, whether she's starting or coming off our bench, she shifts tempo for us. And that's a luxury to have. And she works really, really hard at it. And then probably the last young lady, Promise Taylor. She's gone through a lot this year, off the court, and she's starting to get that motor, that and the presence of, bigs sometimes take a little bit longer, especially when you have what she's gone through. So just now she's getting comfortable in her voice to say, hey, give me the ball, biggest kid on the court, give me the ball. And those guards are listening a little bit more, but I've loved her resiliency of all that she's gone through off the court.
Multiple players for both of you to that question. Player development is in full force, clearly.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, thank you both for your time. We can't wait to see you this afternoon, and good luck to each of you.
All right. Appreciate it. Thanks,
Thank
y'all.
you, guys. Everyone stay healthy, please.